between the float packages is an awful lot of line. We spend hours and hours hauling up meters and meters of Kevlar line. It's slow, tedious work. Occasionally during this process, something exciting happens, like we have to pass a series of shackles around the winch. This always takes fiddling with the line with gloved hands. This line wasn't under tension, it was pretty easy. The mooring consists of about a dozen separate instrument packages and about 5 separate float packages. The float packages carry the weight of the instruments. Here's one of the float packages now. A series of 5 separate floats. Inside each of these plastic containers is a glass sphere that can withstand the pressure quite well. It's always a challenge to get these loads out of the hole, transfer the line and weight, and continue the mooring recovery.
Pick it up and have a look at it? Okay. Come on. We gotta break it there. Let's go. Oh, no, we gotta break this. Right, but we gotta go below that shackle. And that'll take the load. We can lower that in first. Right there. And the one above it with the chain. Lower down just a little bit. You want to put it on plywood?
In between the float packages, which are pressed up underneath the ice surface, are the instruments. This is an acoustic current meter. It measures the velocity of the seawater above it in depth bins. Eureka! This is it. After 4,200 meters, this is the last thing on the mooring line. A pair of acoustic releases. We operate them remotely using an acoustic command from the surface. Operation of either one of these is necessary to get the entire mooring back.
Okay guys, to the camera. Come on, Sam, I only got a minute left to take. Get your ass up here. Alright, we did it! Yes! Good job. Thanks for long. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we should have tried it.
Yeah. We're gonna send the audio home.
Yeah, we ain't coming back.
That's for fun. You're on the back there, go.
I can do it. You can laugh about it.
do it.
Laughing about it next year.
That's right. Yeah, but to give you more time to do it, like an extra day.
It's not gonna work.
It's just man days. Okay, dude, it took us 24 man days to do this job, so you're up here for 24 man for 24 days. I'm gonna come across one of those huts, so I gotta chop it down. Right, right. Yeah, we're talking about a broken back.
So what we got here is a deep water echo sounder. Before we can begin the mooring operation, we need to know the depth that we're working at, and we can make adjustments to our mooring line to compensate for changes in the depth. And so before we begin, we usually set this up with a transducer in our hole, and we start taking readings of the depth. And in the past, it hasn't changed much. It's a pretty flat seafloor here, so we're expecting 4,300 meters, and if that's what we get, then we can begin deploying without making changes to our mooring line.
The next day we begin the new mooring deployment. We start with the anchor. For this job we use anchor chain, old iron chain that we bring about 1,200 pounds. It really taxes the system, but it's always worked. It goes first, and then we start deploying instruments after it, beginning with the acoustic releases, allowing us to get it back 1 or 2 years. We leave the anchor chain behind. Here goes the first of 3 acoustic releases. These are electromechanical actuating devices that release their hold on the anchor chain when driven by an acoustic command from the surface. These have to work in 2 years when we come back, or we don't get anything back. The anchor chain right now is being held by that line in the center of the video on that horizontal bar, temporarily supported by those chains. The mooring operation is one of transferring loads from one line to another using this yoke mechanism in the center.
So that's about 1,200 pounds of anchor chain and 150 pounds of acoustic releases. 1,300 pounds of weight on that line. It's the most weight that the entire system has to deal with. But A-frame seems to be holding its own rather well. But it's still a hell of a load.
Only meters above the anchor, we place our first instrument, an acoustic Doppler current profiler. It measures the water velocity above it non-invasively by the Doppler shift of the seawater. Finally, our first float package. Up to now, the mooring line's just gotten heavier and heavier, with anchor chain, acoustic releases, and ADCP. With the float package installed, the mooring loads get less. We clear a twist in the chain and then haul this float package into the water. You hear the generator strain under the additional load. But with each successive float package, the array gets lighter and lighter. The weather worsens considerably, but we keep deploying instruments. Here, another ADCP goes in the hole.
So we just heard our resupply flight from Longer Bend has been canceled because of weather. We just heard that the helicopters aren't very likely to fly because of icy conditions. So we have now shut down one of our 2 heater stoves to conserve fuel, and that should allow us to make it through till tomorrow with heat. None of us are very happy. That is a acoustic current meter on top, and the Seabird Microcat beneath it, which is conductivity and temperature. The meter obviously measures current. These are going in about halfway down the water column, about 2,000 meters.
You can see here that the mooring line is no longer vertical. This is because we're moving. The ice is being blown by the wind, and the anchor is being held by the seawater below us. With thousands of meters of anchor line below us, the mooring line starts to cut into the edge of the sea ice hole. This later causes us lots of problems trying to get instruments around it. The wind continues to pick up.